I got a number for you guys this morning. 1,500,000. $1,500,000. That is how much revenue Palantir generates per employee per year. Their CEO, Alex Karp, many of you guys have seen him on CNBC, podcasts and so forth. Looks like a PhD, very scientist-like. He said on an earnings call last night, that same day, 189,000 Americans filed for unemployment, the lowest number in 57 years. We are talking since 1969. Both numbers are real. Both numbers are true. And both numbers tell you everything about where the economy is going. We are no longer living in one economy. We are living in two. There is a builder economy where one person uses AI and generates 1.5 million in revenue. And there is the coordinator economy where nearly 900 tech workers are laid off a day. They are getting pushed out. Today, we are going to show you both sides of the math, and we are going to show you who is winning and who is getting left behind. We are going to show you the warning signs that every CEO in America saw last night when Palantir released its earnings. $1.5 million per employee. I want you guys to think about that. And we're also going to give you guys the playbook to position yourself for what is coming. Guys, this is the Daily Climb. I'm Antoine Wade. Let's look at the data. Got some good numbers to talk to you guys about this morning. And let's start with what happened last night after the closing of the bell. Palantir reported their first quarter earnings. And these numbers are not normal. Revenue, $1.6 billion, which is up 85% year over year. That is the fastest growth since they went public in 2020. Their U.S. business doubled in 12 months. U.S. commercial revenue up 133%. U.S. government revenue up 84%. Adjusted operating margin 60%. Cash on hand $8 billion cash on hand, zero debt. And they raised their full year guidance to $7.6 billion in revenue. That is 71% growth. Man, if you working at Palantir right now, you guys are getting to the money. You know, a lot of times we talk about on the show how all the bad things are happening. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of good things happening for the people who are in the builder economy. There are so many wins. Palantir employs a lot of people, and their people are generating a lot of revenue. 1.5 million per employee. That's insane. The skills that they have, the work that they're doing, and the market is rewarding them for it. So are they the ones that's complaining about gas prices right now? Probably, because everybody's complaining about gas prices, but they're not worrying about a lot of things right now because they're getting to the money. That's what happens when you're on the winning side of this. Let's go to a video real quick by CNBC talking about Palantir's big win on last night. Okay, let's see what the news had to say about this, because I think it's pretty big.
Let's get another check on Palantir Q1 numbers are out moments ago. Stock bouncing around in overtime here. It is just higher by a fraction of a percent. The company giving strong full year guidance. CEO Alex Karp saying in the release its U.S. business had its highest ever year over year growth. Joining us now is D.A. Davidson, head of technology research, Gil Loria. He's got a neutral rating on Palantir. Gil, great to have you with us. What's your take on the numbers?
It's remarkable. We're running out of superlatives for Palantir. They just grew 85% at 60% operating margins at scale at a $7 billion run rate. Nobody can do that. There are no other companies that are growing at these rates, at this level of profitability for mostly recurring revenue. So it's a universe of one. They're doing phenomenally well. Expectations are high because they keep raising them, which is probably why you're not seeing a lot of reaction in the stock. But the results themselves, they keep getting better every quarter.
I mean, I don't know the expectations, like meaning the estimate, the expectation in terms of the pricing of the stock didn't seem to be anticipating a lot going into the numbers. I'm just wondering why you think if these numbers are truly extraordinary, why there isn't much of a bounce in the stock when it's not like it's been a high flyer into earnings.
Yeah, that's the trap they're in right now. Yeah, they were trading Before they reported this, they were trading at 90 times cash flow. I want to say that by the time we all adjust our numbers, they're trading at more like 80 times cash flow. That's very high expectations. That's a lot more than anything else. And the expectations for the fundamentals are very high because they've been accelerating every revenue for the last couple of years. So they're in this trap that there's nothing they can do to impress investors because every quarter keeps being better and better than the previous quarter before that. But I don't think they care. I think what they care about is the business is doing phenomenally well. The stock over time has performed very well, and they're going to continue to grow this business very rapidly. There's really not a lot of reason to believe this is going to stop anytime soon.
It's Palantir. Here's the numbers that matters most to you. Annualized revenue per employee, $1.5 million. I want you guys to type signal in the chat if you understand why every CEO in America just memorized that number. Type signal in the chat. Karp, their CEO, said it himself on the call. He said only 3 other companies match what they just did in all AI infrastructure: NVIDIA, Micron, and SK Hynix. That is it. That is the whole list. These are all AI infrastructure companies, not legacy software companies, not consumer tech. These are companies building the picks and the shovels for the AI gold rush, and they are minting money while the rest of the market freezes. And this is not just Karp. Last night, Andy Jassy went on Mad Money, the CEO of Amazon. And this is what he said plain to Mad Money, Jim Cramer. Let's go over here real quick. I'm gonna share another video with you guys real quick.
Well, this is important because, by the way, you used the term reinvent 4 times, reimagine 3 times. And I was thinking, well, isn't that what you're doing right now when you spend $200 billion and you actually believe it's going to pay off?
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, the really big capital expenditure bet that we're making is because we believe that AI is the biggest technology transformation in our lifetimes. It's going to reinvent every single customer experience we know, and altogether new ones we never imagined. And if you look at the pace that things are growing, I mean, I used in the letter the example of after the first 3 years of AWS, we thought we were growing really fast, and we were about $56 million in revenue. And after the first 3 years of this inflection of AI, or this incarnation of AI, our run rate's over $15 billion, 260 times what it was the first 3 years of AWS. And we thought we were growing fast with AWS. So when you have shifts that are this momentous, you want to make sure that you invest in such a way that you can pursue the opportunity as broadly for your customers as possible, as well as for, I think not just our customers will benefit, but our shareholders and the company as a whole will be a very different company 5 to 10 years from now because we're betting big like this than it would otherwise be if we were conservative.
Jassy said it plain. He said AI is the biggest technology transformation in our lifetimes. Amazon is spending $200 billion on AI infrastructure this year. Their AWS run rate after 3 years of AI is already $15 billion. That is 260 times what AWS itself was doing 3 years in. He said it. Now, here's what that means for your positioning. When you have CEOs of 2 of America's biggest companies saying the same thing on the same night, that is not noise. That is what we call signal. But here's the part of the story that most people are not going to tell you. Okay? A lot of people aren't going to tell you this sort of stuff that we talk about on this show. On the same morning that Palantir was getting praised, Business Insider published a story about another AI infrastructure company. Its name is CoreWeave. You guys know them. They run the data centers behind Microsoft, behind Meta, behind OpenAI, behind Anthropic. Their senior executives sold over $1 billion of their own stock in the first 4 months of 2026. Let me say that again. $1 billion in 4 months. The CEO, Michael Intrater, sold $138 million. The co-founder, Brian Venturo, sold $658 million. Another co-founder, Brandon McBee, sold $240 million. That puts them in the 99th percentile of all stock selling in the S&P 500. And they are not the only ones. Two brothers who run Arim, an Australian Bitcoin company that pivoted to AI, Daniel and William Roberts, they each made $72 million in 2025, 10 times what they made the year before. A 31-year-old CEO named Asher Ganoot at Hut 8 made $240 million last year, 23 times what he made in 2024. A guy named Michael Schultz at CleanSpark got paid $45 million for less than 1 month at the top of the company. I want you guys to type warning in the chat if you see what is happening right here. Type warning in the chat. Now, here's what an analyst at Weinberg Center for Corporate Governance said. His name is Charles Elson. He said this quote, "If you believe in the viability of the product, ultimately you won't sell your stock because it will have greater value down the road." He said sizable stock sales by insiders are a warning sign to investors that maybe they know something that you don't. So here's my analyst take on this one. You have two stories on the same day in the same industry. Palantir hitting numbers that nobody hit. CoreWeave executives quietly selling every share they can. Both are signals. One says the builder economy is real and the upside is huge. The other says even the people building it are taking chips off the table. Your job is not to pick a side. Your job is to read both signals and position yourself accordingly, okay?